I know what I promised, I whispered. She needed me. She's going through a divorce. We talked about this before the engagement, Amanda. His voice cracked slightly. You promised me you wouldn't keep up this friendship with her.
It's Tony here. You know those friendships where you don't talk every day, but when you do, it's like no time has passed. That's how it was with John. We'd catch up once a month, maybe grab our fishing rods and head to the lake when our schedules lined up. Simple, honest friendship of the kind where you can just be yourself. Last Saturday, John called me up. Hey Tony, saw Amanda at Sally's place and remembered we haven't spoken in a while, so thought of saying. That left me wondering. Amanda had told me she was going to meet Amy. I picked up my phone and sent Amanda a casual text. How's Amy and how's it going? Her reply came quickly. She's good. We're having coffee and catching up. Something fell off. I waited a few minutes, then sent another message. When did you last see Sally? This time the response took longer. Those three dots appeared and disappeared a few times before her answer finally came through. Haven't seen her in months. Why? I typed. Are you at Sally's house right now? No, I told you I'm with Amy. Why would you think I'm at Sally's? I couldn't take it anymore. I hit the call button, and she answered on the third ring. Hey, she said, trying to sound casual, but I could hear the tension in her voice. Amanda, tell me the truth. Are you at Sally's? Tony, I already told you I'm not. Why are you asking this? Because John saw you there. Silence. That's impossible. John must be mistaken. I took a deep breath. Okay, I'm going to drive to Amy's house right now. Her voice cracked. Wait, don't? Okay, fine. I'm at Sally's. The admission hit me like a punch to the gut. Not because she was at Sally's, though that was bad enough, but because of how easily the lies had rolled off her tongue. One after another, without hesitation, until she was trapped. I just hung up and switched off my phone. I knew she'd blow up my phone, and I needed peace to think. I sat there for what felt like hours, replaying every conversation we'd had over the past few months. How many of them had been lies? How many times had she told me she was somewhere else when she was really with Sally? The thing about trust is that once it's broken, it doesn't just affect the present. It reaches back and casts doubt on everything that came before. Each memory now came with a question mark. Each past conversation needed a fact check. The woman I was going to marry, the person I trusted most in this world, had looked me straight in the eye and lied. Not once, not twice, but over and over. And if she could lie about this, what else could she lie about? That's the thing about broken trust. It's not just about the lie itself. It's about all the possibilities that lie opens up. All the what-ifs and maybes that crowd into your mind, refusing to leave. And as I sat there in our quiet living room, I couldn't help but wonder if our relationship could survive this fracture in its foundation.
Hey, Amanda here. I've been staring at my phone for the past hour, reading and rereading my texts with Tony. My hands are still shaking. I know I messed up. God, do I know it. But how did everything spiral out of control so fast? It started as such a simple thing. Sally needed someone to talk to after her divorce, and I couldn't just ignore her. We've been friends since we were kids, sharing secrets under blanket forts and helping each other through our first heartbreaks. When she called me crying 2 months ago, what was I supposed to do? Say, sorry, my fiancé doesn't like you, so I can't help? So I went to see her. Just once, I told myself. But once turned into twice, and then it became regular coffee dates. Each time, I told Tony I was meeting someone else, usually Amy. It seemed harmless at first. A little white lie to keep the peace. Until today. When Tony's first text came through about Amy, my heart started racing. I remember staring at my phone, Sally's voice fading into background noise as she talked about her ex. Everything okay? She asked, noticing my distraction. Yeah, just Tony checking in. I tried to sound casual, but my fingers trembled as I typed my reply. Then came his question about when I'd last seen Sally. I watched those 3 dots appear on my screen, disappear, appear again. How could I tell the truth now, after weeks of lying? You should just tell him, Sally said, reading over my shoulder. What's the worst that could happen? I shot her a look. You know how he feels about you. He'd never understand. So I lied again. And again. Each message feeling like another shovel of dirt in the hole I was digging myself into. When Tony called, I stepped out onto Sally's porch. The spring air was warm, but I felt cold all over. "Hey," I said, trying to sound normal. "But you know that feeling when your heart is beating so loud you're sure the other person can hear it?" That's how I felt. I kept denying it, even as my voice shook. Even as I heard the hurt and anger building in Tony's voice. It wasn't until he said he was driving to Amy's that everything fell apart. "Wait. Don't. Okay, fine. I'm at Sally's." The words came out in a rush, followed by this horrible silence. I could practically hear Tony's trust in me shattering. I'm sitting here now, hours later, and I still can't believe how stupidly I handled everything. Sally keeps telling me I shouldn't feel this guilty. "He's being controlling," she says. "You're allowed to have friends he doesn't like." But that's not the point, is it? This isn't about who I'm friends with anymore. It's about trust. It's about the fact that I looked my fiancé in the eye, well, through texts anyway, and lied to him over and over. I'm trying to remember when it became so easy to lie to him. Was it after the first time, when nothing bad happened? Or was it when I convinced myself that these weren't real lies because they were protecting something good, my friendship with Sally? The worst part is, I keep thinking about all the times Tony's praised my honesty. "That's what I love about you," he'd say. "You're always straight with me." Each memory feels like a knife twist now. I wanted to argue. To explain that seeing Sally wasn't such a big deal, that my lies were just to avoid conflict. Because deep down, I know this isn't about Sally anymore. It's about trust, and I just took a wrecking ball to ours. So here I sit on Sally's couch, my engagement ring feeling heavier than ever. She's in the kitchen making tea I won't drink, telling me everything will blow over. But I'm not so sure. And the scariest part? I'm not sure he'll ever look at me the same way again as before.
You know what's worse than discovering a lie? Realizing there's a pattern to it. As I sit here trying to process everything, my mind keeps circling back to Sally and all the red flags I've seen over the years. I remember the first time I met her at Karen's house. Karen, Amanda's best friend since college, was hosting a barbecue. Sally spent the whole evening making these little comments, subtle enough to seem innocent but sharp enough to leave marks. "Oh, Amanda, you're settling down already. But you're so young. You've barely lived." She'd say it with this concerned look, like she was doing Amanda a favor. Then she'd glance at me, smile sweetly, and add, "No offense, Tony." I could have brushed it off if it was just about me. But then the thing with Karen's husband happened. God, I still remember that Sunday morning when Karen called Amanda, sobbing so hard we could barely understand her. Her husband had been sleeping with Sally. 4 months. Right under all our noses. I trusted her, Karen had said. She was my friend. She'd sit at my dinner table, play with my kids, and all that time, the worst part, Sally showed zero remorse. She actually tried to justify it, saying Karen's marriage was already on the rocks, and she just helped speed up the inevitable, like she'd done Karen a favor by destroying her family. I pull out my phone and read through Amanda's messages again. Each lie about being with Amy when she was really with Sally makes my stomach turn, especially because we talked about this, really talked about it, before I even proposed. I get it now, Amanda had said back then. I see how toxic Sally can be. I don't want that energy in our lives. I believed her. Why wouldn't I? Amanda had always been the honest one, the straight shooter. That's what I love about her. When other people would dance around issues, she'd tackle them head on. Now I'm wondering if I ever really knew her at all. My phone buzzes, another text from Amanda trying to explain. But what's there to explain? This isn't just about her sneaking around to see Sally. It's about the pattern. Sally's toxic influence has wrecked every relationship she's touched. She swoops in, plants seeds of doubt, and watches relationships crumble while playing the supportive friend. "You deserve better than Tony," she told Amanda once, not knowing I was within earshot. "Don't limit yourself. There's so much more out there for someone like you." I confronted Amanda about it then. She'd brushed it off, said Sally was just being dramatic. But now I wonder if those seeds found fertile ground after all. The thing that really gets me. Before all this, Amanda and I never had trust issues. Never had to wonder where the other person was or who they were with. It was the foundation everything else was built on. Sally didn't just poison our relationship. She made Amanda compromise her own integrity. My phone buzzes again. Another text. Please, Tony, let me explain. Sally's going through a rough time with her divorce. Of course she is. Sally's always going through something. Always needs someone to lean on. Always needs saving. And somehow she always ends up being the only one standing when the dust settles. I think about Karen, who still can't attend group gatherings if Sally might be there. About how her kids split holidays between houses now. About how Sally just moved on to her next project like nothing had happened. And now here we are. Amanda has been lying to me for months, sneaking around like a teenager, all to spend time with someone who's actively tried to undermine our relationship. Someone who's shown time and time again that she has zero respect for relationships or boundaries. The sad thing is, I get why Amanda kept it secret. She knew exactly how I'd react because we'd had this conversation before. She knew seeing Sally was a deal breaker for me. And instead of respecting that boundary, she chose to lie. Over and over and over again. That's the part one can't get past. Not the fact that she wanted to support a friend, even a toxic one like Sally, but that she chose deception over honesty. She broke the one thing I thought we'd always have: trust. My phone buzzes one more time. I don't even need to look at it. Some broken things can't be fixed with explanations. And right now, I'm not sure our trust is fixable at all.
You never forget the moment your world falls apart. For me, it wasn't some dramatic scene with shouting and thrown objects. It was quiet, almost gentle, like watching a sandcastle dissolve in the rising tide. I'd driven home from Sally's hours after that phone call, rehearsing explanations the whole way. But when I walked through our front door and saw Tony sitting in his favorite armchair, all my carefully prepared words evaporated. He looked different, like something had shifted inside him, something fundamental. How can I believe you anymore? His voice was soft, almost contemplative. That's what scared me the most. Not anger, not accusations, just this quiet disappointment that seemed to fill the whole room. How long have you been lying to me about this? What else are you lying about? I felt the weight of each question like physical blows. What could I say? That it was just this one thing? That everything else was true? Even I didn't believe that anymore. Tony, please, I finally managed. It's not what you think. Then what is it, Amanda? He leaned forward, his hands clasped together so tightly his knuckles were white. Because from where I'm sitting, looks like you've been systematically lying to me for months. About something we specifically discussed before our engagement. The memory of that conversation hit me like a bucket of cold water. We had talked about Sally. Had agreed she was toxic. Had promised each other. I know what I promised, I whispered. She needed me. She's going through a divorce. We talked about this before the engagement, Amanda. His voice cracked slightly. You promised me you wouldn't keep up this friendship with her. I never thought it would go this far, I said, the words tumbling out. I never wanted to hurt you. I just thought it wouldn't matter. It matters. His voice hardened. You've broken our trust. You've been lying to me for months, and now I don't know what's real anymore. He paused, and when he spoke again, his words were deliberate. You continued your friendship knowing while she wrecked one of your own friends' homes. I felt dizzy, like the room was tilting sideways. This couldn't be happening. This wasn't how things were supposed to go. Tony, please, we can work through this. I'll cut ties with Sally, for real this time. I promise. Like you promised before? He stood up slowly, and I noticed something in his hand. My heart stopped when I realized what it was. It's over. The words fell between us like stones. You chose her over our relationship. I need the ring back. My hand instinctively went to the engagement ring on my finger, the one I'd worn with such pride for the past 5 months. The diamond that had caught the sunlight every morning, reminding me of our promises to each other. Now it felt like it was burning my skin. With trembling fingers, I worked it off my hand. It caught slightly on my knuckle, as if even this small piece of metal was reluctant to accept the end. Finally, it slipped free. I held it for a moment, this tiny circle that had represented our whole future, before placing it in his outstretched palm. The soft weight of it leaving my hand felt final in a way nothing else had. My finger felt naked, wrong. A pale band of skin marked where the ring had been, like a ghost of everything I'd lost. I wanted to argue, to fight, to make him understand that this couldn't be it, that 3 years together couldn't end like this. But as I looked at him, really looked at him, I saw something that stopped me cold. It wasn't anger in his eyes anymore. It was worse. It was resignation. The full weight of what I'd done crashed over me. This wasn't just about seeing Sally. It wasn't even about the lies themselves. It was about trust, the foundation of everything we'd built together. And I'd taken a sledgehammer to it, one small deception at a time. I watched him walk away, my body frozen in place. The room felt too big suddenly, too empty. The photos on our walls, us hiking in Colorado, dancing at his sister's wedding, laughing on that beach in Mexico, all seemed to stare back at me accusingly. Now I sit here alone, the silence of our apartment pressing in from all sides. The ring still sits on the coffee table where he left it, catching the late afternoon light. It looks smaller somehow, less significant than when it represented our whole future. Sally keeps texting me, asking what happened. But I can't bring myself to respond. Because she's not the real problem, is she? The problem is me. My choices. My lies. I keep replaying everything in my head, wondering at what point I could have stopped this avalanche. Was it the first lie? The second? When did it become so easy to look him in the eye and say things we both knew weren't true? The worst part is, I understand his decision. If our positions were reversed, would I be able to trust me again? After discovering months of deliberate deception? The sun is setting now, casting long shadows across his living room floor. Soon I'll have to start packing, figure out where to go, what to do next. But right now, all I can do is sit here, surrounded by the ruins of the future we'd planned, and wonder how I managed to destroy something so precious over something so stupid. They say trust is like paper. Once it's crumpled, you can never get the creases out completely. But this isn't just crumpled. This is shattered. And as I finally stand up, leaving the ring behind, I realize some things really can't be fixed. No matter how much you wish they could.